Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to do two Cutcliffe flies in this video, number 8 and number 9. Primrose silk as always with some wax. This is going to have fine brown cow hair, and this is from a local farm, and some primrose or straw colored silk. Now here's the hackle that I'm going to use, and it says dark rusty blue. Tough to know exactly what that is. So I have a hackle that's mostly blue but has kind of a rusty red tips there, and that's what I'm going to use. It could mean a different look. It's definitely a question I've wondered quite a bit as to what a lot of these hackles look like, and there's going to be a second edition of Dr. Paul Gaskell's reprinting of Cutcliffe's book coming out at some point in time, and hopefully some of the research that he does there will shed some light on these subjects and maybe help us out, to answer these questions. At this point, I'm going with that. You interpret it as you will. So here's that cow hair that I'm just dubbing on there. I'm going to make the body here, try to create a little bit of a taper. If you have a farm near you, or sort of like a petting zoo type of place, the cows do, as Cutcliffe mentions, like to scratch themselves, and usually on a post of a fence or something, they rub up against it and scratch themselves. And if you can find that scratching post, there should be some hair on there. And if they're brown cows, grab some. That's basically what I did. So tied the hackle in there by the tip, and I'm going to rib the fly here with that straw colored silk. Both these flies, 8 and 9, have straw silk as the rib, which is it's actually a really nice, pretty rib. And so likewise, I rib all the way up to the waiting thread, and have tied the feather in before finishing dubbing the thorax. I'm just redoing my doubling of the hackle there, and I'm gonna wrap an open turns up through the thorax to where the silk is hanging, my tying thread silk, and I'm there now. So that's one, or sorry, I guess I was there earlier, but do like 2 or 3 wraps up at that point, and then trap the silk down, cut it off, and finish up your head and do a whip finish. And that's the basic idea that we've been doing as we go through all these flies. It gets a little repetitive. The colors are interesting to see here, the different body colors and the melding of the different hackle colors, and how they go together. So for example, you have that brownish rusty colored cow fur, and in essence the hackle has that too, with a blue dun characteristic. So you can kind of see it there. Now, should it be more blue or not? I'm not really sure. So now we get on to number 9, which again, primrose silk wax. But the fur now is a mix of hare's flax shaved like in my video, and water rat 50-50 matched together. The hackle color says very rusty blue inclining to a brown, not red. So that right there is an interesting Collins cape that I got from Charlie Collins. At one point I called him and wanted to just get a bunch of unusual hackles that he might have, kind of one-offs, unique ones, and he had that hackle which had like a dun cast to it, but was really like very brown, rusty brown, as you can see there. So I'm using that. Hopefully it's the kind of hackle that fits that bill. Again, not really 100% sure here. And I don't have water rat, so what I use for water rat is a mix of field mouse with a little bit of pine squirrel, just to make it a little bit spikier. And then the Hare flax again is just that shaving of the hare skin, so you get those tips of the hair feather that has a rusty cast to it, and so you have that combination of a rusty tinged blue going in there. So it's tying in that Collins hackle, and the fiber length on these hackles should be the length of the hook shank. That's how you measure what size hackle you're going to use. And here I'm doing the ribbing now with the silk. I did 3 there, 4, and here 5. This is 5 for Gula, 5 for Michael Gula. The other one I did more than 5, but I wanted to make sure we got 5 in here for Michael. And so I had doubled the feather before. This one I'm going to attempt to double here on the hook. And sometimes when you do that, you're going to see what happens. Sometimes you break it. No need to panic, don't worry. Instead of going back, I just wrap over the thorax zone a couple spiral turns and retie in the hackle with a couple spiral turns and give it a couple cranks up by the head. And then we go from there. So it's nothing to panic about. If you haven't tied the rib, if it's a fly that does not have a rib, you could just back off. But with the rib, I think it's easier to do it this way, because otherwise you'd have to back all the way off. Now this fly I decided to try because I wanted to see if I started it back a little further and made that spiral wrap up from a little deeper into the length of the fly, just to make it a little bushier, and maybe definitely hanging out in the surface film much longer because of a little bit more hackle spread throughout the fly. So did that here, and we'll see a close-up in a second. And so just finishing that off, whip finish. Tighten up, cut that silk off. Give it a 360, and then we'll get a quick zoom in here on a photo of it. And you can see how I started back. You see how it's a brownish, rusty blue, and there's the 2 flies next to each other. And thank you very much. Take care. Come back soon.